And so my little disclaimer, I'm still figuring out how to homeschool multiple ages. Like I was laughing, luckily, and in some moments today frustrated thinking about how ironic it was that today was a struggle juggling everyone on a day that I was going to talk to you guys about homeschooling multiple ages. This isn't easy. I feel like I just need to validate that because there might be one mom that's like, yeah, all of those strategies sound good, but I'm like still drowning some days or most days or part of the day or this certain part of the day every day. And it isn't an easy job, right? It can be overwhelming, overstimulating. Like if you're like anything like me, I can get overstimulated by like a lot of noise. It definitely tests my patience regularly. There are days I feel defeated and frustrated. So I just have to be real about that from the start. However, it can be not easy, but also we can do it, right? Like we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So other than like assuming that you're starting your day with prayer and assuming that you're starting your day in the word, like as much as possible, right? Like this is not a checklist that I'm saying like if you didn't pray, read your scriptures and worship and repent today that like that's why your day is failing. I'm just saying, right? Like hopefully we're doing some of these things every day to start our day or at some point throughout the day. So assuming you're doing that stuff, right? Like what does this look like? So first topic I am going to touch on briefly is curriculum choices, not because I think curriculum makes or breaks our homeschool. I actually think the opposite in a sense, but it is a piece of the puzzle, especially when thinking about, I think even if you're homeschooling one child, but especially when you're homeschooling multiple children, because you have to think about like, will I choose family style curriculum? If so, how many of our different subjects will we do family style? Will we do a unit study approach which covers a bunch of different subjects in that family style curriculum or approach? Are you going to have curriculum that requires working one-on-one with your children, with 1, 2, 3, or more of your children? And depending on their ages and the curriculum, it will require more of you in terms of like splitting things up. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Or maybe it's a little bit of both, right? Like I know for us, we do a little bit of both. So we have a lot of family style subjects, but then there are some things that require me to be one-on-one with my kids. Not all of them. So like, for example, my 15-year-old, there's really nothing that I have to be one-on-one with him on at all at this point. So I check in with him. He shows me his work if he really has a question and things like that. So other than our family style subjects, he's on his own. So he doesn't need me really for that one-on-one time. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. My 7-year-old is probably the one who needs me in like one-on-one the most. So my 11-year-old, he actually is pretty independent with his independent work. He doesn't need me to like teach him his lesson unless it's a family style subject. But my 7-year-old is the one who really at this point needs the most of me one-on-one outside of family style subjects. So you have curriculum choices, then you have to think about schedule. Will you start at the same time each day? Will you have a subject specific schedule? Will you have more of a free flowing rhythm? So we'll talk more about those things with schedule versus rhythm a little bit later, but these are kind of like my 3 main topics to think about when managing multiple, like homeschooling multiple ages. Our curriculum choices, schedule, and then expectations. So what are realistic expectations for your family as a whole? I feel like expectations, thinking about them are so important because if we have expectations of our family that are just not realistic, we're setting ourselves up for failure. Like we're setting ourselves up to feel like we're failing, for us to feel like our kids are failing, for our kids to feel like they're failing, for our kids to maybe think that we're failing. So it's just, we want to make sure that our expectations are realistic. And I feel like we need to revisit that because our expectations are going to be different in different seasons or should be. And that's kind of like a thing that can trip us up. Like I'm definitely speaking to myself here where if I have the same expectations that I did in a different season and then I'm getting frustrated because it's not working, that's like something I might need to think about.
Isn't she great? I have learned so much from the contributors in the Made to Homeschool community. I love hanging out with them live in our meetups or joining these workshops and seeing the full thing and participating in the Q&As afterwards. This membership offers so much, and we would love to see you there and encourage you on your homeschool journey as well. You'll find the link to our community in the description box below. So you could just watch this little clip here, or you could come join us yourself. We would love to see you there. Make sure to subscribe. Bye-bye.